I'm going to ask you guys this question. Should Red Sox fans be willing to accept it? Like I think I know how we feel because we all just kind of stated why we kind of like Crochet over the big free agent arm. But should like this was a discussion I saw on Twitter where it's like should Red Sox fans accept that the team would rather deal their top prospects rather than spend the money needed to get that frontline guy?
I just think that's a bizarre way to look at it. Crochet is the best fit out of all these guys, in my opinion, regardless of how he's acquired. He's, like I said, same age as the most of the pitching staff. He's left-handed, which is huge. A lot of strikeouts, which is big at Fenway, hitter's ballpark. You need to be striking guys out. So I don't even think about it that way. That's to me, it's like taking it personal almost. Like you're still not going to spend, but then the Red Sox will be like, well, we're getting the ace that we need. What are you talking about? We're making the team better. Isn't that what you want? That's how I would look at it. Just make the team better. I don't care how it's done. I'm not gonna complain if they don't spend money on. I want them to spend, whether it's money or trading prospects. Just get that ace and make the team better. I don't care how.
Well, I asked this question and it's like this isn't going to be me straddling the fence on this or anything. I think it's good to trade for pitching when it's young because these guys flame out way earlier than bats. Like look at the successful long-term contracts for hitters and pitchers. Like you can only name a few pitchers that really took it to the end of their deals. Where if you get a great young starter and extend him, like Crochet could get extended and now he's hitting the free agent market at 32, 33. Whereas if you sign Corbin Burns to an 8-year deal, he's 38. My thing is I'm okay if you trade the prospects to get Garrett Crochet, but guess what? Crochet's not going to be making much money next year. I want to see that payroll up. I don't want to see uncertainty on the roster. I don't want to see a lineup that can't hit left-handed pitching. I don't want to see a lineup that strikes out with the worst 3 to 5 teams in the league. If you're not going to spend the money to upgrade the pitching, you're going to spend the prospects to upgrade the pitching. I want to see you spend money to fix what we saw in the offense late in the season. I want to see you spend money to get that left-handed reliever. There is an elite left-handed reliever out there, and I've never been the type of guy to say invest in relievers because those contracts I feel like fail early more than any. But you need what you need. Like the payroll should be at the top of the league. I'm okay if you don't feel like spending on a 30-year-old starting pitcher, spending big money on big years for a 30-year-old starting pitcher. I am fine if you don't think that's a good investment. But what's not okay with me is you making the money that you make owning this team and not at least spending to the luxury tax line. And even that shouldn't be acceptable because they've been under it. Like I should be demanding that they go over it. I'm being nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather them go over it and spend, but just make the team better. I don't really care how it's done. You know what I was thinking about the other day on the topic of Garrett Crochet. You guys remember last offseason, we were talking about Yoshinobu Yamamoto ad nauseum, just nonstop talking about this guy because on top of being a stud pitcher, he was 25. And we kept saying, you never get an opportunity to acquire a 25-year-old ace, period. It's so rare that you acquire an ace like that. Most of the time, you get them like Max Fried when they're 30 and they hit free agency. By the grace of whatever God you believe in, they have another chance to get a 25-year-old ace in Garrett Crochet. And it's just like, you may not have this opportunity for another 15 years, and you got it now back-to-back years. Hope they don't fuck it up.
All right, I want to hear Pat's take. Pat, should people accept that they're potentially leaning towards trading some of their elite prospects for pitching rather than just signing it?
Yeah, I mean, there's two different routes for me. One of which is that is very clearly the best route to improve the team, both in the starting pitching department and everything else. Because if you trade from depth to acquire your ace, you have all of that freed up money to go get your Tanner Scott, your Willie Adames, your Bregman, whatever you want. If you don't do that and you go and get Fried, I don't think they're going to be shelling out massive contracts. Then you're turning to the trade market for guys who are available. You're looking for a strikeout lefty who ideally is under control. Like, it's just a mess. If you go and get Fried, you can pay whoever you want to upgrade everywhere else. the other part of this has never been a thing before. I think because over the last 3 or 4 years, ownership, front office, whoever the CBO was, whether it be Heim or Bloom, or Heim or Breslow,
Yeah.
they have done nothing but emphasize the next young core are exciting prospects. So now people are emotionally attached to them, and that's hard to deal with. I get that. No one batted an eye when we traded the #1 prospect in baseball for Chris Sale. That's because we had a damn good team and other guys on the team, so no one cared.
So true. Nobody cared
So-
at all. Everyone were like,
I
Chris
know.
Sale? Oh my God.
So now it's to the point where, okay, these kids who we've been told that are like our entire future, you're going to trade them? You can't do that. Yes, they can, because if they trade them, you get your ace. You have money to spend to get the other stars, to get the leadership, to get the reliever. It's so, I don't get why people are so against trading the prospects when it so easily upgrades the team right now.
But you also have
Especially,
to.
like,
You also
like
have
you
to.
just you
They're
just saw
blocked.
like you just mentioned it, Pat. Chris Sale, you just saw Dave Dombrowski a few years ago with the Red Sox very willingly trade the prospects for major league talent. And what did that lead to? Literally the best Red Sox team in the history of the very old Boston Red Sox, who are even older than me. So I don't know. Like, I feel like Chaim Bloom's tenure kind of warped the way people look at prospects. Not in a good or bad way. It's just very different. And I was like that too. When the Chaim Bloom started, I remember thinking like, yeah, keep all these guys. I can take a year or two of, not the best Red Sox team as long as you get 7-8 years of contention. But this is too much. This has been a lot of incompetent teams on the field. I just want to see them cash in. So I don't know how people are possibly
Sammy,
still
it's
thinking
different.
that way.
The thing is, they're at a different place now. Like in 2022, they had a bunch of spots on the team. Like, do you remember Heim entered the offseason? He's like, we need to sign like 7 or 8 guys this offseason.
After
And everyone,
21?
I think it was it might have been after 22 going into 23. Because I don't think
Yes.
they made the playoffs that year. So I think they didn't make the playoffs the year before Heim said this. So I think it was
Right.
after 22 going into 23. And he said, we have like 7 or 8 spots we have to fill this offseason. And everyone was like, oh, let's go. Like 7 or 8 new players. But actually,
We're not gonna.
It's like, no, they did get guys, but it's like when you have to get that many guys, it's like you have to invest in mid because you can't get 7 or 8. You can't trade for 7 or 8 really good players. You can't sign 7 or 8 really big contracts. So you're stuck with like 1-year guys like Michael Wacha, I think might have been, or no, it was Michael Wacha, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like
whatever.
the difference
Adam
now,
Duvall.
yeah, the difference now is they've got guys committed to positions. They can't go, like if they wanted to try to go a year without trading someone from the outfield mix, like they in theory could, and guy like maybe Roman would be in AAA longer than you would think, or like guys maybe like you'd have to rely on guys getting hurt. I don't know, but you could do it, but the roster doesn't fit that well if you do it. There's going to be guys unhappy with their playing time if you don't do it. So they kind of have to trade guys. This is different. Like in the past, you didn't have to trade anything. If you traded things, like if they traded Marcelo Meyer when he was like their only top 50-ish prospect, like before Roman, like that's just bad business. That's asking for to be an unsustainable team. Whereas now, like you could trade Marcelo Meyer and guess what? You still have your entire infield locked up.
Yeah, it's like they waited the max. Like they've waited it all the way out to where it's at a boiling point on the roster, and it's kind of a logjam. And that's not a bad thing in terms of the roster. It's a bad thing that we had to wait this long. I think they could have added last year and made the 2024 team competitive. I mean, they definitely could have. The 81 win team, you add a decent bat and a pitcher, things could be different. But yeah, I agree, Gordo. It's different now. You really don't even have a choice. You have to move guys. You only have so many roster spots.
Yep. And I think the reason we have these conversations, I think the three of us all agree they're more likely to, at least when it comes to pitching, trade for it than sign it. However,
I don't know. I don't know if I agree.
However.
I don't know. It's because pitching is such a premium in a trade. I don't know if they're going to be willing to go that all in. I think it might be more likely that John Henry reverts back to like, all right, fine, just this one time. But we'll see.
well, if you want to have hope that the Red Sox might be in on a premium pitching free agent, Rob Bradford and I for Baseball Isn't Boring we talked to Lucas Giolito, and that podcast, I believe, dropped when you're listening to this. I believe it dropped today. So it is on Baseball Isn't Boring. You can click on that as soon as you're done with this podcast. And we asked Giolito about his former high school teammate, Max Fried. Joe, do you have that clip for us?
Let's do an exercise. Gordo, you're going to appreciate this one. I'm a guy named Max. My last name happened to be Fried. Give me your pitch. He's going to ask you. He's going to ask you.
What, you think I haven't already talked to him about it?
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, of course you have. Right. but I feel like we're doing, I feel like we're doing a service. We're workshopping even more. So
I do like this exercise.
You can already, if you want, you can just repeat what you said to him. I'm just giving you an opportunity.
No, I can't do all that, man.
No.
I'll say, like, don't you want to, we played high school ball together, and we always talked about how cool it would be if we'd be on the same team in the big leagues, when we legitimate conversations we would have when we were 17. So let's, this is the shot to make it a reality right here.
So there you have it, man. Ooh. Lucas Giolito, like Rob, the way Rob phrased that was like, give us your pitch that you would give Giolito. And he's like, bro, you think I haven't already done it?
Yes.
Like, come
it's
on.
our guy, dude. Like, that's exciting, man. I hope he has. I mean, Max Fried, kind of an asshole if you don't sign with the Red Sox. You're crushing your high school friend's dream. So uproot your life and move to Boston, or else probably not a good guy. So
I have a question for you guys. Do you think that Lucas Giolito would only do this if he was given the indication from the organization that there was that they were at least going to make a run at him? Like, do you think he would go? Do you think? Am I making? Is this a stretch that I don't think he would go out and try to recruit Max Fried to the Red Sox without at least talking to Alex Cora or someone in the front office? Like, hey, are you guys interested in this? Because I'll talk to him.
No, I don't think he would. I don't think the front office is telling Giolito anything. I think it's just his friend, and it's as simple as that. He's just saying, "Hey, man, come to the Red Sox." And in all likelihood, not to be a Debbie Downer, it probably won't matter. Max Fried, he's gonna go where he's the best fit, where he gets the money he wants. So, no, I don't think he's talking to Giolito's talking to the front office about it.
Yeah, I think I learned my lesson from Matt Judon. Matt Judon recruited every son of a bitch under the sun, and not one of them came here. Don't get me wrong. I think if it's the money's even, let's say Atlanta offers him similar money, or maybe not Atlanta because he would probably go back, but let's just say Dodgers. If he gets the same exact offer sheet from the Dodgers and the Red Sox, could Giolito's connection, the recruit, could that be this swaying option? Yeah, it could be. But I don't think he's foregoing all other options and coming here because of Giolito.
Imagine he takes $90 million less just to hang out with his friend.
Yeah.
For
It's
1 year,
$8
too.
years,
For 1
$8
year.
million.
For 1 year, too.
Yeah, it's like the conversation when people are like, if you don't bring back Xander, there's no way Rafael Devers is going to re-sign with the Red Sox. It's Devers was $330 million. Nah, I want to stand next to my friend more. I'm going to turn that down. It's just not how it works. It's a business with huge amounts of money, and money talks.
Yeah. So hopefully, and I responded after that. If you go listen to the podcast, I was like, yeah, what you got to tell him is, Lucas Giolito, he's pitched 2 playoff games in Boston. What better than to make it a reality of those two fulfilling their dream of being MLB teammates than Max Fried being the thing that pushes the Red Sox into playoff contention, and then they get to pitch playoff baseball in Boston, a place unlike any other for postseason environments. So I don't know. We'll see. I think it's certainly not a bad thing that Lucas Giolito is talking to Max Fried about potentially signing with the Red Sox. So keep that in mind when you start hearing all those rumors about if the Red Sox ever express interest in Max Fried. If you ever see that reported anywhere, just remember, heard it here first and on Baseball Isn't Boring, that Lucas Giolito talking to Max Fried about potentially joining the Red Sox.